Dear friends, the Patriarchal Seminary of Rachol annually celebrates the Interreligious Dialogue on 2nd October, the Gandhi Jayanti. However, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we were unable to celebrate it last year. Hence, we have decided to celebrate it this year by means of the mass media communication facility. The theme chosen for this interreligious online program is Hand in Hand with Everyone, Facing the Challenges, Moving Forward. We as Indian citizens are all brothers and sisters. Although we face many challenges and difficulties to live this goal, we can, hand in hand with each other, move forward. Swami Vivekananda wished to have this unity among religions, and in 1892 visited the Rachol Seminary to gain knowledge of Christianity before he proceeded for the World Congress of Religions in Chicago. Hence, in the name of the seminary, I welcome you all for this program. And in a special way, I welcome the speakers from the Hindu, Muslim, Jain, Sikh and Christian communities who will share their experience on this theme, and thank them wholeheartedly for accepting our invitation. God bless India and us all.
Every human person seeks to answer the question of the origin of humanity and the world. Religion came into being in an earnest endeavor to provide meaningfulness to our life. Today, religion, besides addressing common perennial existential concerns, becomes a potent unifying force, inspiring and energizing people towards decisive and challenging acts of charity, justice, and peace.
Divine experience in diverse ways has been one of the constituent features of almost every major religion of the world. Human person in some form or the other is a reflection of God's love on this planet. So every time we reach out to the other with true care, it becomes a blessed moment to encounter God in a tangible and personal manner.
Every person, irrespective of his or her personal beliefs, shares in the religion of humanity, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means the whole world is one family. It is a value which our country believes and shares with the world. As a great Indian family, we proudly acknowledge and value that our marvelous religious diversity constitutes the very identity of our nation. This familial spirit drives us to be authentic sharers in the joys, hopes, and sufferings of one another.
The COVID-19 pandemic has overwhelmed the world with fear, hopelessness, and despair. We have witnessed our loved ones losing their lives, families starving for daily bread, people longing for help in diverse ways. However, amidst this grim picture, the pandemic, as Pope Francis says, has shown us that no one can face life in isolation. Rather, we have to work together as a single human family, as fellow travelers sharing the same flesh. And we are privileged and blessed to witness in our beloved state Goa the unity of humanity as one family, hand in hand with everyone, facing challenges and moving ahead.
The world is in despair as the COVID pandemic spreads as wildfire, infecting individuals and families at will.
Food is man's basic need. Lockdown, food shortage, whole family quarantined. No one to bring or cook food. Are we going to die of starvation? The cry received a listening ear. Our Hindu brethren courageously came forward, cooking meals in their own temple premises and supplying it to the needy. True fraternal care in action.
कोविड पेंडेमिक जेन्ना गांवांत येयली आनी ह्या आमच्या भारतभर गोंयांत येयली तेन्ना थोडे दीस आमकां कांय कळना जालें की कितें करचें. घुसपागोंदळ जातालो सगळ्यांच्याच मनान. तेन्ना अशें म्हाज्या मनान एक दीस दिसून येयलें की लोक खूब उपाशी आसात, खूब त्रास काडटात. गरीब जनता जेवणाच्या सोदान भोंवताली, जेवण खंय मेळटलें काय म्हणून. त्या उपाशी लोकांचें पोट भरप हें आमचें काम जानासलें. आमी देवळाच्या तर्फेन थोडोसो फंड एकठांय केलो आनी त्या फंडान आमी दिसाची जेवणां दिवपाक कॉमेस केली. आनी आमी पयलीं चिंतलें आमचे कडेन चड पयशे ना, टेंपला कडेन फंड ना, पूण आमी चिंतलें 5 दीस आमी कंटिन्यू लोकांक जेवण दिताले एका टायमाचेर. आनी आमी जेन्ना सुरवात केली तेन्ना 85 जेवणां, म्हाका अजून कूड आसा, 85 जेवणां आमी केल्लीं. पूण जेन्ना आमी जेवणां वांटपाक लागले पॅकेटां ती, तेन्ना आमकां ती कमी जाता कशीं दिसपाक लागली. आनी मनान खूब वायट दिसलें, कित्याक थंय लोक येयल्लो आनी जेंकां लोकांक परते वयचे पडले. तेजे उपरांत दुसरे दिसा अशें जालें की आमी न विचारता कोणी तरी 2 पोतयो हाडून आमकां तांदळांच्यो दिल्यो, भाजी हाडून दिली, दाळ हाडून दिली. आनी आमी जशें डिसिजन घेतलें आनी थारायलें तशें 4 जावं 5 बायलां येवन थंय रांदतालीं पर डे इन हें रोटेशन. आयज एक 5 ग्रुपान रांदले, फाल्यां दुसऱ्या 5 ग्रुपान रांदले, अशें रांदताले. आनी थंय आमच्या टेंपल कमिटीचे जे लोक आसले ते थंय उबे रावन ती पॅकेटां लोकांक पॅक करून दिताले. पयलीं दिसा 85 जाले, दुसरे दिसा 200च्या वयर गेल्लीं पॅकेटां आनी आमकां तितलें सॅटिस्फॅक्शन मेळटालें. आनी थंय मेन म्हणटा तें भेदभाव कसलोच जालो ना. तें जरी टेंपल देवूळ आसलें हिंदूंचें तरी थंय सगळे तरेचे लोक येतालो. भोव करून हे जे कर्नाटका आनी बाकीचे भायले लोक आसात, गोंयच्या लोकांक तरी जेवण मेळटालें, पूण जे भायले लोक आहा भायलो प्रांतांतले तांकां बाबड्यांक जेवण मेळनासलें. ते येवन इतले बरे हितूर मनान तें जेवण घेताले, इतलो बरो आशिर्वाद लोकांक आमकां सगळ्यांक दिताले. खरें तें सॅटिस्फॅक्शन, इतलें सॅटिस्फॅक्शन आसता तें पयशांनी मेळपाचें ना. लोक संवसारान म्हाका दिसता अशें पळोवपाक वचूं 85-90% लोक बरो आसा. ओन्ली हार्डली 5 ते 10% लोक असो आसता की आपल्या स्वार्था खातीर कीड घालीत आसता. बाकी सगळे जाती धर्म कोण मानिनात. हें म्हाका तेय दिसा कळोन येयलें, जाती धर्म आमी मानिनात, तशे लोकूय जाती धर्म मानिनात. हो आमकां संदेश तेन्ना क्लियरली मेळ्ळो.
The situation worsened. Oxygen and nutritious food in hospitals became a major challenge now. Some lost their battle of life due to lack of oxygen. People gripped with fear, gasping and searching for oxygen. Could someone please help? The Goa Sikh community especially their youth, lived their tenet of service, risking their own lives.
ये गोवा सिख यूथ पहले हमने 2016 में चालू किया था। हम लोग पहले छोटे छोटे काम कर रहे थे, ब्लड कैंप, आइस कैंप, ऐसे अपने गुरुद्वारे लेवल पे कर रहे थे। बाद में जब कोरोना की फर्स्ट वेव आई तो हम लोगों ने गुरुद्वारे से बाहर निकल के ये काम करना चालू किया। तो हम लोगों ने पहले स्टार्टिंग में 300 फूड पैकेट से चालू करके 5000 पैकेट पर डे चालू किया, बाद लोगों को ग्रॉसरी दिया। ऐसा करके हम लोगों ने 2 महीने तक कंटिन्यू फूड सर्व किया नॉर्थ गोवा के अलग अलग लोकेशन पे। जैसे हमारे को कॉल आती थी हम उसको पिक करते थे। तो ऐसे करते करते धीरे धीरे करके हम लोगों ने 2 महीने तक, जब तक हमारा काम चला, लोगों का लॉकडाउन खुला नहीं, तब तक हम सेवा करते रहे। बाद में रही बात सेकंड वेव की, बाद में सेकंड वेव आई, हम लोगों ने 3 मई से लोगों को कॉल आने हमारे को चालू है कि आप भी कुछ करो। तो हम लोगों ने करना चालू किया। तो बाद में 3 मई से लेके हम लोगों ने ऑक्सीजन के सिलेंडर अरेंज किया कुछ, तो सिलेंडर देने दिन चालू कर दिया। तो सिलेंडर देते देते बाद में लोगों के पास हम जाने लगे। लोग बोल रहे हैं कि खाने का बहुत प्रॉब्लम थी, कि उनके पास में ये हो रहा था कि उनका कोई रिश्तेदार कुछ, मतलब कोविड से इतना लोग डर रहे थे सेकंड वेव से, तो कोई खाना लेके जाने के लिए रेडी नहीं था। तो पेशेंट को तो कुछ मिलता था मगर उसके रिलेटिव जो साथ में रहते थे बहुत प्रॉब्लम। बाद में हमारा ऑक्सीजन बंद किया, धीरे धीरे करके मिलना बंद हो गया। तो बाद में हमने सोचा कि हम लोग खाने का काम करेंगे। हम लोगों ने धीरे धीरे करके बाद में कुछ अरेंज किया। तो हम लोगों ने 5 मई को हमारा लंगर चालू किया हॉस्पिटलों में, जीएमसी में चालू कर दिया लोगों का हॉस्पिटल। ऐसे करते करते हम लोगों ने 500, 700, 800 जो क्वारंटाइन लोग हैं उनको देना चालू कर दिया। अपने एरिया में जो 25 किलोमीटर 20 किलोमीटर के लोग थे, एरिया का क्वारंटाइन हम लोगों ने कवर किया। बाद में ये लोग, हम जो लंगर प्रथा है जो हमारे गुरु नानक देव जी के टाइम से चलती आ रही है, तो हमारा यही मकसद रहता है कि कोई आदमी किसी तरीके से भूख से नहीं मरना चाहिए, ऐसा हमारा, क्योंकि हम गोवा पंजाब से आए हम लोग, तो गोवा हमारी कर्म भूमि है, इसलिए हमने सोचा कि इनके लिए कुछ करना चाहिए। हमने वो गुरु नानक देव जी की मर्यादा के लिए वो मतलब लंगर चालू किया इधर गोवा में। तो बाद में धीरे धीरे करके हमें बहुत लोगों का प्यार मिला, उत्साह मिला। इसके हम लोगों ने देखा कि जब भी जो चीज़ दर्द होता है, भूख से बड़ा कोई दर्द नहीं है। लोगों को हमने भूख से तड़फते देखा है, लोग भूख पानी के तड़फते देखा। हम लोगों ने, हमारे को बहुत खुशी हुई कि हम किसी के अपने हाथ किसी की हेल्प करने के लिए आगे बढ़ाएं। तो लोगों का बहुत प्यार, लोगों का बहुत दुआएं मिला। हमारे लोगों की दुआओं से हमारा टीम बिल्कुल फिट रही, किसी को कुछ नहीं हुआ, सब हद तक ओके है। आगे से भी जो चलेगा तो हम कोशिश करते रहेंगे कि आगे से कुछ भी होएगा तो हम लोग साथ में हेल्प करने के लिए रेडी हैं।
With thousands of cases galloping every day, hospitals were overfull. No place, no bed became the new slogan. Who will take care of the COVID positive patients? The Archdiocese of Goa offered to help, transforming their retreat center into a COVID care center and living the words of Jesus. Whatsoever you do to my brethren, you do it unto me.
I was ordained as a priest on the 28th of April 2021. And on the 30th April 2021, Father Noel, the administrator of our Archdiocese, informed the priests of the plan of our bishop to start a COVID care center and sought the help of volunteers and nurses. As soon as I read this message on WhatsApp, my spontaneous reaction was, I need to go. I wanted to be of some help to the people who were suffering due to the pandemic. This was at a time when the state used to record around 3,000 to 4,000 cases on a daily basis and witness substantial amount of loss of precious human life. It was indeed a frightening situation, but not once did I experience any fear of working for the COVID patients. It was a Herculean task because, apart from my studies in microbiology, I did not have any experience working in a hospital or for that matter at a COVID care center. I accepted the responsibility trusting entirely in the Lord. I asked myself a question. If doctors, nurses, and frontline workers can work for COVID without bothering about themselves and their families, then why shouldn't I? Love is a verb. Without action, it is merely a word. Apart from the doctors who were helping us at the center, none of us, the priests, nuns, and the nurses, had any experience about COVID work. We had trained nurses, but they had never done any COVID duty. Setting up of a COVID center itself was a tough row to hoe. Every minute detail had to be taken care of, as we had assumed a great responsibility. There was no room for making mistakes, as we were dealing with precious human lives. With the help of doctors and nurses, we finally managed to open the center on the 10th of May 2021. The work included setting up of isolation rooms for mild cases and wards for patients with moderate severity of infection, making protocols, having sufficient medical stock, roping in catering, housekeeping, and waste management services, arranging for test center, and so on. It was indeed a mini COVID hospital, I would say. In the initial days, we were literally stretched to our limit, as we were trying to streamline the whole process, right from admitting the patients to sending them back home hale and healthy. One of the most important things you can do on this earth is to let people know that they are not alone. The thing that I want to emphasize over here is about the ministry of presence which we practice at our COVID care center. These people longed for human compassion, love, care, and physical touch. And this is what we practiced at our center. We were not just concerned about the physico-medical aspect of the disease, but more so of the well-being of the human person as a whole. Hence, besides the medication, we would shower them with our encouraging words, round-the-clock personal attention, empathetic attitude, quality time, and spiritual support.
In the darkest hour, the COVID warriors battled by all means to save lives transcending all boundaries, facing challenges and risking their lives. Doctors, nurses, medical staff were always on their feet, sacrificing their own family and home, selflessly caring for the greater human family.
I worked as a part of the COVID team at Healthware Hospital, Old Goa, overlooking the outpatient unit at the Majestic Pride COVID Care Center in Panjim, and also at the St. Joseph Vaz Renewal Center, Old Goa. At the Renewal Center, under Dr. Noel Brito and Dr. Rufino's mentorship, we managed to cater to over 125 COVID-positive patients, ranging from mild to moderate severity of pneumonia. I would like to share my experiences from the Renewal Center with all of y'all. Precautions were strictly adhered to. Visitor access was restricted. Management of all medical and paramedical services were highly controlled and efficiently managed. Personally, I would say I managed to sleep about 3 to 5 hours a day. Although I was staying at home, I barely had the opportunity to see my parents since I'd leave early in the morning and come in late at night. This year has definitely taken a toll on all of us in some way or the other, and I'm no exception to that. For most of us, we have found it difficult to manage the times. But for me, at the Renewal Center, Father Noel, Father Jophil, and all the sisters have been more than supportive throughout the pandemic. We had a little bubble of our own that I could call home. They would make sure that I've eaten my meals, They would make sure that I've rested well. And there's a lot that I learned from the experience of serving the community there. Positivity and spirituality are as important as adhering to medical treatment. If the mind is not strong, then the body acts weak. If the mind says it's too cold or too rainy or too windy, the body will be more than happy to agree. And the same applies to recovery from any disease. Thank you.
Death rate was increasing every day beyond our imagination. Providing a decent funeral to our loved ones posed a new challenge. Fear of contracting the disease led to the abandonment of the dead. The Islamic community stepped forward to give a dignified and respectful farewell to members of all faiths.
Alhamdulillah, all praises be to Allah. I will start with the words of Allah, wherein Surah An-Nisa, verse number 36. It says, "Serve Allah and join not any partners with Him, and do good to parents, kinsfolk, orphans, neighbors, strangers, companions, wayfarers, etc." As you all know, Corona pandemic has brought out real humanitarian work required in the crisis situation. In spite of having everything with them, people were helpless. As the above verses of Quran says, we strongly believe that serving humanity for Allah's cause is the greatest work, and its fruits we will get in the life hereafter. Popular Front cadres, with this sole intention to please the Almighty Allah, reached and helped the most affected during COVID times, and took the challenge by risking their life, and got involved in various activities such as providing ambulance services to the COVID patients, food packets to the needy, and also gave decent burial or cremation to the departed soul as per their religious rites. As in many cases, entire family members of the deceased were the victims of COVID. Hence, our service was not restricted to a particular area. Similar activities were conducted in various parts of Goa, which includes Bicholi, Sakli, Valpai, Ponda, Mapsa, Anjuna, Porvorim, Panjim, Vasco, Margao, coastal belts, Kanakona, Savade, Kepe, Sangam, etc. The real heroes are our cadres, who went out of their way to provide all possible support to any person who was in need during this challenging time.
We work for the empowerment of women, not only one community but all the communities. There was a misconception that women should stay at home, but in Islam, woman is given the highest position in all the field, be it business or home. In this COVID pandemic, it has brought a great disaster to the whole world. In Goa, we have lost most of our loved ones during this pandemic situation. In Goa, we all have had hard times during this COVID. National Women's Front have played a vital role. We have helped the COVID-affected families by performing the last rituals of the female dead bodies. Due to the fear of COVID, no family members of the descendants came forward to do the rituals. But National Women's Front ladies came forward without any fear of life, even though they have their kids and families back home. Not only that, due to the lockdown, most of them had no jobs, because of which they had no food. Here also, National Women's Front gave them grocery kits and also helped their kids financially for education. This inspiration comes for us from Almighty Allah. We do this to make our Almighty Allah happy by our deeds, for we believe in not this life but the life hereafter.
It was so heartwarming to see humanity transcending all boundaries, coming together as one human family, reaching out in diverse ways to those in need. Challenges come, challenges go. May the familial spirit continue to grow.
Today, we salute all the communities of different faiths residing in Goa for their selfless, courageous, and sacrificial service in these challenging times and upholding the religion of humanity.
Is pandemic the only challenge that we face today? What should be our outlook to challenges on our common future surgeon? The challenges to safeguard our ecology, our land, our heritage, our human rights, our secular constitutional principles, our freedom, our very identity. We have faced one challenge hand in hand with everyone. Here lies the roadmap for every future challenge, a beacon of hope for a bright present and a better tomorrow. Jai Bharat, Jai Goya, Jai Dharm.